Live Love Growers, wholehearted thanks. I want to just thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your beautiful messages of support yesterday, and your likes and your loves. They were received with deep appreciation. It meant so much to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And today I'd like to explore, something's shaking in the background here. Oh, say hello to Liam. This is Liam. And how old are you, Liam?
I'm 9.
And where are you supposed to be?
In bed.
Okay, good night, sweetheart.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you too. Yeah. So today we're going to be exploring transmuting patterns and cycles to transform and evolve. So it's like looking at our lives and seeing what's not serving us and what is serving us, and letting go of the things that no longer serve to move forward and create with the things that are really working in our lives. So it's taking a forward focus look, because where focus goes, energy flows. So I don't know whether you've seen in your life when you're in a negative frame and you're looking at all the perceived flaws and you're coming from a place of judgment, it just seems to expound in your face. Everywhere you look, you seem to be inviting more and more of that same situation into your life. Whereas when you take it to a positive frame and you start putting all your focus on the things that you really do like, well, a magical thing happens. Not only is it changing your internal emotional state because you're finding that you're being in a more happy state, that then reflects outside of yourself as well. So that's a really important thing to understand, that your internal emotional state will also reflect what presents and appears outside of you and what experiences that you actually, bring towards you. Now, from my experience, one of the first times that I let go or broke the limiting beliefs that really sticks in my mind was when I was about 6 months pregnant with my first child, Jordan. I was 20 years of age and I had pretty progressive views on what parenting was to me. And I found myself having a time of reflection and making an assessment. And what I did is I looked back over my life and the way that I was parented and thought, what made me feel valued and what things didn't make me feel valued. So it was about stripping away the things where I didn't feel a great sense of self, and then moving forward with the things that made me feel really positive and made me feel valued as a child growing up. And that's how I created what may be termed a conscious parenting plan. And it was a bit of a spoil the rod and spare the child. Well, that's the old approach or the old way of maybe looking at it. But I would rather term it love and reason. So it's the balance of love and reason, which is a bit like our brains. We have the left hemisphere of our brain, which is all about analytics, logic and reasoning. And then the right hemisphere of our brain is our imagination and our creative side, and more our spiritual side. And interesting enough, most of you may know that the right hemisphere of the brain controls the left side of the body, and the left hemisphere of the brain controls the right side of the body. And something even more interesting, going back to my dad's time when he was at school, he was in a Catholic school, and they used to tie the left hand behind the back, and they very well knew that the left hand stimulated that creative side of the brain. Hi, Liam. He's done a sign. I am a rebel. Yeah. I love that. Anyway, it's time for bed, beautiful.
Okay, I'll do it now.
Night, sweetheart.
I just wanted to
Yeah. So, at that time in my life, I was working a full-time job in North Sydney, and because I hadn't been there to qualify for the maternity leave, I had to negotiate agreement with the company that I was working with at the time, and we negotiated that I have 9 weeks off work. So here I was, young, full of energy, and I thought to myself, yeah, I can do this. And I was on my own, that's another story for another day. And my parents were very, very supportive of helping me and assisting me to follow my dreams at that stage, though our ideas on parenting were quite different. So it wasn't so much in the like the first 12 to 18 months where I had any resistance to the way that I wanted to parent. It was actually when, you know, I suppose discipline starts to come in and we start questioning what is discipline. And I expressed my views to, you know, my mum, who was the primary carer at that time. And yeah, I had quite a bit of reaction. So, you know, we sat down and we discussed it and talked about it for quite some time. And I was very determined and I was very persistent. And it was with that consistency, standing in my truth, that we created, you know, the agreement. My mum moved forward with it and thought, okay, well, I'm going to try this, thinking, I know in her mind that it was going to prove, you know, me wrong. Though, yeah, I just had such a very clear idea of what it was that I wanted to do, that it actually started to work really, really well. And my eldest son, Jordan, he's a magnificent young man, and I know that within myself, and it's not that I seek validation and acceptance of that outside of myself, because I'm very clear and very strong in knowing who I am as well. So even though people do tell me, you know, what a magnificent young man he is, you know, that's, I suppose it's a confirmation, but I also have an inner knowing, and, you know, that's where I draw my strength and my empowerment from. So the message for today is trust in what you believe and have a look at the patterns and cycles that keep on revolving around and, you know, cycling in your life. And we need to make different decisions to receive different outcomes. And by being consistent, while you may have resistance outside of yourself, staying true and standing firm to what you believe, and when you start seeing the difference and you know that it's working for you, it doesn't matter what the reaction is outside yourself. If other people react to it, that's their issue, and they need to own that issue. It's not for you to take on board. In life, we take on other people's judgments and projections too personally. And when we do, it leads us to this space within inside ourselves where we give rise to self-doubt. And that is a very non-serving place to be. So get clear, trust in yourself, have determination, have consistency, and to the people who react, screw you. Anyway, thank you so much again for listening. Peace, love, and balance, and I look forward to connecting with you again tomorrow.
And see
Take
you in
care.
the next video. Bye.
Bye.